experience back with working with the Wii hardware? How long have you, I guess, known of its existence? And was that from the initial planning? I mean, stages, and I guess how was your experience been with it?
Well, like Brian was saying, we actually started development of the game before we knew what the hardware was going to be. So naturally, we had certain plans with what we wanted to do with the character ability set, and like Mr. Schneider was saying, different locales and how we would use that for gameplay, the main game theme of the game. So all of those things were somewhat in the planning stages before we understood what the initial hardware was. And then when we found out what the hardware was, then there was kind of this big shift on, okay, well, what's the focus going to be, and how are we going to use that controller to and take advantage of it for the game. So it was kind of a shift, and we're actually still making adjustments and changes based on what we're finding all the time about what the controller can do, what works and what doesn't. So it's definitely a learning experience. It's brand new, and it's a pretty big challenge, but it's great. We really enjoy working with the hardware, and again, we'll continue to try to find really new and interesting things. So what you see in the demo on E3 is just a sampling of what we started to do with the controller. There's a lot more things that we're planning to do. So cool.
Now, the first two games on GameCube were a first-person adventure. This is a first-person shooter. How is that changing up the gameplay elements? I mean, it's an adventure too, but I mean, with the with the remote, I mean, you have more of a first-person style targeting. How's that changed game design and some of the game elements?
アドベンチャーからシューティングになったことで何が変わったかというと、それはやっぱりポインティングデバイスっていうことがあるんで、よりシューティングの方にフォーカスした方がウィーの良さを見せられるっていうことが一つある。
Because we had the pointing devices, we had the Wii machine has I'm sorry, has the pointing devices, so we think it may be better to use to more focus on the shooting element for the Prime 3. So in that case, we can make more advantage of the Wii machine.
I think that it doesn't really change our basic philosophy of the Prime series. I mean, it's still the same thought of exploration, adventure, puzzle solving. But because now we have a really intuitive interface for shooting, it just is a natural progression to focus a little more on that. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily just a shooter. But we can do that part better for this game. So I think that it still balances really well. But like Mr. Shinoda was saying, we are focusing more on the pointing and the shooting because it's kind of what you would expect to do, and it's fun. So we're just kind of building off of that.
We tend to bristle at the description of first-person shooting. That implies a much more limited feature set than we feel the Prime series brings.
By the way, did you hear that the Prime 3 is first-person shooting or first-person adventure?
Did I hear?
Yeah.
Well, the way it was referred to on stage is that it's a first-person shooter. I mean, I played the demo at the Tokyo Game Show, so the Prime 2 demo, and I was very happy. I mean, I was used to playing Prime 1 and 2 with the GameCube controller, so it was a definite switch for me, and I wasn't used to it because I was comfortable with how I was normally playing it, but I mean, it still felt like it had the adventure elements in it. So I mean, it seems to be like a hybrid. It's not just your strict run and gun shooter, obviously that's not what metroid is. So I mean,
Well, as for the genre, as Mark said, we think that because there still is exploration, explorement elements, so we still think that the genre should be a first-person adventure instead of just first-person shooting.
so you want to keep that title as first-person adventure?
Yeah.
You say that?